Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday service. And a special welcome to those of you who are joining us for the first time. We will begin the service with the ringing of the kancho, followed by the chanting of Jusege. Please follow along either on the screen or in the purple service book in front of you, page 93.
長聖願非死無浄土志願不満足政府上昇学我無量公不意大聖主不祭小便政府上昇学下士上仏道妙正長実法仏教未正門政府上昇学欲事少年上映修凡行死具無浄土一生天にし人力現代公不正無才道少女三苦名交際集約難回避知恵言思考も案閉塞小悪道通達伝修門高僧上満足老実法1月修十期天候音符言一周解放道公正功徳法上大集中説法四式供養一切部空 足習得本観念出上慢得意三害用妙仏無下知脱未不詳願悪へに投資最小尊志願や国家内戦を感動国書天に東内妙慶ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブがにしくどく妙の聖祭道本も大心往生安楽ナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツ。
Okay, we will now have the reading of three treasures, followed by Sankyemon.
Please join me in reading the three treasures. Hard it is to receive a human form. Now we have received it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma. Now we hear it. If we do not receive awakening in this life, in what life shall we do so? Let us reverently take refuge together in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. Together with all beings, may we attain the great way of enlightenment, awakening to the supreme intent of the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. Together with all beings, may we enter the storehouse of Dharma, acquiring wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. Together with all beings, may we become united at the great assembly, being free of all bondage. Hard is it to encounter the supreme, profound, and wondrous Dharma, even in 100,000 million kalpas. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us truly understand the true intent of the Tathagata. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. 三期右衛門、人参受けがたし、今すでに行く。仏法聞きがたし、今すでに聞く。この身根性に向かってどせずんば、さらにいずれの章に向かってかこの身をどせん。大衆もろともに死神に三方に消えし立てまつるべし。自ら仏に消えし立てまつる。まさに願わくは主情とともに、大道を体現して無常意を起こさん。自ら法に消えし立てまつる。まさに願わくは主情とともに、深く共造に入りて知恵海のごとくならん。自ら僧に消えし立てまつる。まさに願わくは主情とともに、大衆を通りして一切無下ならん。 無常人人未明の本は百千万号にも相追うことかたし、我今検問し授事することを得たり、願わくは如来の真実義を下し立てまつらん。ナモ阿弥陀仏、何万ダス、何万ダス、何万ダス。
Okay, and now Reverend Takata will deliver his Dharma message.
Would you please join me in that show? Master Genshin, who was among the assembly that heard Shakyamuni Buddha on Virtual Park, taught the difference between the fulfilled and transformed lands, thereby clearly setting forth the benefit of single praxis and mixed. Namo Amida Butsu, Namman Dabutsu, Namman. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending our Dharma service today. I welcome all of you, and a special welcome to those attending our service for the first time. I came to this country in October 1st, 1995. So this month marks my 30th anniversary in this country. I recall 30 years ago when I was about to leave for the United States. I was full of expectations and anxieties. My biggest concern was English. In Japan, I learned English for 3 years in middle school, another 3 years in high school, then 4 years at university. However, as you know, my English is Japanese English and not perfect. In Japan, school teachers taught me various English words, grammar, and translation, but not how to speak and pronounce the English language. So my daughters always correct my pronunciation, but it is very difficult to pronounce perfectly. And my first assignment in this country was at WLABT in Honolulu. As you know, Honolulu is like Japan. There are many Japanese restaurants and grocery stores, and Japanese people are working in the banks, post office, and grocery stores. And many temple members could understand Japanese, so I didn't have much trouble with the language while I was there. However, when I was transferred to Kappa Honganji Buddhist Temple, the island of Kauai, there are no Japanese restaurants and grocery stores. And most of the temple members were English speaking and didn't understand Japanese. So I had to speak English. At the time, I couldn't speak English at all. If they spoke English, I probably could understand what they said. However, they also spoke the Hawaiian language and mixed it with English, making it difficult for me to understand what they are saying. They said, "Sensei, you golf?" What I learned in Japan was, "Do you play golf?" or "Do you like golf?" But many people said, "You golf." And one of the elder members came to the temple almost every evening with a package. When I met with him for the first time, he said, "You Pao?" I was thinking, what is Pao? I didn't learn such English word. Then he told me, "You, Buddha's light." I was thinking, what does it mean, "You, Buddha's light"? Then he took a 6-pack of beer from the package, and the beer said, "Bud Light." Then I understand he calls a beer Bud Light as Buddha's light. Then he told me, "You cow?" I was thinking what the cow was. I thought he was talking about the cow of the animal. I thought he was asking if I eat beef. Then I told him yes. Then he took a container from the package. It was not beef. It was tuna poke. I found out that cow means to eat. When I ate poke, he told me, "You ono?" Again, I was thinking what ono means. It means oishii, delicious. When he was talking to me, he often said, "Bambai," or that kind. I now understand the Pidgin language, but I had a hard time understanding it for the first time. And the Kappa Honganji Buddhist temple is located in the middle of the island, and the temple faces the highway in the front, while the back overlooks a beautiful ocean. And there was a big sign of the temple on the highway, so visitors and newcomers often visited the temple. And when they called and asked me how to get to the temple, they asked me how many miles from the airport or a certain place. When I just moved there, I had a difficult time expressing distance. How many miles? In Japan, I use kilometers instead of miles, so I didn't know how to answer. When I went to the grocery store and bought poke, they asked me, how many pounds? How many pounds? I didn't know pounds in Japan. I used kilograms instead of pounds. So while I was thinking about how I should reply, I found a small, medium, and large containers on the counter. So I pointed out the small container and replied small. I didn't feel insecure about the language and culture in Japan, where I used to live, but I had a difficult time adjusting myself to living in a different country at the first time. And this morning, I began my message with a poem composed by Shinran Shonin. Genshin, one of the 7 masters from Japan, heard from Shakyamuni Buddha that those who doubt the Buddha's primal birth and engage in sundry practices will be born into the transformed land, and they'll never see the Buddha and hear the Buddha's teaching for 500 years. So when we are born, we are in the mother's womb for 10 months. The transformed land is known as a womb-like birth. That is like the baby who is born in this life, but the baby is still in the mother's womb. Since the baby never sees the mother and hears the mother's voice, the transformed land is called the womb palace. Although we are in the mother's womb for 10 months, we may be in the womb palace for 500 years. And the transformed land is also called borderland. I'm now comfortably living in this country. However, as I shared my experience, the borderland is an inconvenient place, far from where one is accustomed to living. The farther I move away from the place where I used to live, the more distance far away from my parents. Similarly, the more one moves away from the true teaching of Amida's primal birth expanded by Shakyamuni Buddha, the more one is away from the Buddha, becomes difficult to hear the calling voice of the Buddha and forget the Buddha's benevolence. I change the altar flowers every Friday, and I intentionally use the chrysanthemums arranged in the flower arrangements. If we carefully look at the altar ornaments, we can find the chrysanthemums carved on some of the ornaments. I guess the Jim is showing on the screen. You see? Can you see? The ornaments of lights on our altar represent the light of wisdom of the Buddha, or the Buddha's teaching. And the chrysanthemum is translated into Japanese as kiku. And kiku in Japanese has another meaning, which is to hear or listen. So it is intentionally carved, the chrysanthemum, on our altar ornaments, and we also use the mum for the altar flower. They remind us of the importance of hearing and listening to the Buddha's calling voice, Namo Amida Butsu, embodying the Buddha's wish. Now in the center, we have 4 standing scrolls, the 2 volumes of the Raja Sutra, Contemplation Sutra, and the Amida Sutra. And this sutra represents Shakyamuni Buddha. And all those sutras begin with the words, "Thus I have heard, thus I have heard." So those sutras teach us to hear the teaching of Amida Buddha's primal vow from Shakyamuni Buddha as it is, as Buddha's disciples demonstrated. There is no personal understanding or interpretation in the sutra. The sutra is a collection of the Buddha's Dharma message. So let us all hear the calling voice of the Buddha, Namo Amida Butsu, on why the Buddha prepared the name Namo Amida Butsu for those of us who are constantly suffering and wandering in this defiled land, and how the name Namo Amida Butsu is working for us. Let us sincerely receive and accept the compassionate working of the Buddha, who cannot help but always be concerned for us and call out to us. In response, let us live our lives to the utmost, hearing Namo Amida Butsu and receiving the working of Buddha's wisdom and compassion as it is. Thank you very much for listening. Would you please join me in a show? Namo Amida Butsu, Namman Butsu, Namman Butsu, Namman Butsu.
Thank you, Sensei, for your Dharma message this morning. Now, if you please follow along as we read Ryogemon.
Please join me in reading the Ryogemon by Master Renyo. We rely upon Amida Buddha with our whole heart for the enlightenment in the life to come, abstaining from all sundry practice and teachings, and giving up the trust in our imperfect view. There is no doubt that the assurance of enlightenment comes at the very moment we entrust, and we recite the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, in joy and gratitude for the Buddha's compassion. We also acknowledge gratefully the benign benevolence of our founder and succeeding masters who have led us to live in this profound teaching, and we do not endeavor to follow throughout our life the way laid down for us. 両下出言、もろもろの道行、奪取、自力の心を振り捨てて、一心に阿弥陀如来、我らが今度の一大事の御所、御助け総来と頼み申して候。頼む一年の時、往生一条御助け事情と存じ、この上の称名は言法者と存じ、喜び申し候。この恩断り弔問申し明け候こと、ご解散承認ご出世のご恩、次第僧正の伝理式の朝からざるご関係のご恩と、 ありがたく存じ候。この上は定め犯せられる恩をきて、一号限り守り申すべく候。ナモ阿弥陀仏、何万陀仏、何万陀仏。
Okay, now it's time for announcements. On November the 8th at 10 o'clock, we have our Eitaikyo special seminar entitled Where Did My Loved One Go? Where did my loved one go after death? And our guest speaker at that time is Reverend Ryuta Furumoto, who is the resident minister of the Senshin Buddhist Temple. And as always, donations for the seminar is greatly appreciated. Following day on November the 9th at 10, Reverend Furumoto will also be our guest speaker for the Eitaikyo Memorial Service. Now, Reverend Takata has 2 study sessions. First one is on Wednesday from 7 to 8 via Zoom, and he has one more session left, which is on October the 29th. And if you can't make the Wednesday session, he also has a Saturday from 11 to 12, also via Zoom. And there's one more left, November the 15th. On November the 15th as well, starting at 10, it's Buddhism Beyond Mindfulness. And there's a chanting service at 10 o'clock with discussion at 11. And everyone is welcome, no chanting experience necessary for this one. For those of you who have children or know of anyone with kids, we have a monthly Dharma Kids program. November the 2nd will be the next session for the children. Now, for college-age students, it's called College Night, and there's going to be dinner, bingo, games, and a chance to meet new people. And this will be held on Friday, November the 7th, from 7 to 10. And it's $7 per person, and RSVP is required for this. And again, for those of you who have children, or if you want to attend, we have a Halloween party. That's going to be on October the 25th from 4 to 6. And please RSVP by the 20th if you do intend to, if you do plan to attend. And it is a $7 donation. Now, on November the 1st, West LA Temple, along with the Venice Buddhist Temple, will be holding our 8th annual Winapalooza event. This is going to be held here at our social hall. We're going to have live music, wandering magicians. We're having a silent auction, and also catering by Feast from the East. So it's $60 per person. Pre-sale only. We will not allow anyone at the door on the day of the event. And that will be from 7 to 9. And please RSVP by the 26th of this month. Now, every third Friday of the month, we have bingo at the temple, which starts at 7 o'clock. We have lots of snacks. People bring snacks. It's all cash prizes. And the more people that attend, the bigger the prize. And it's a lot of fun. And then finally, we have a few items that we sell here. The first one is a temple t-shirt, and we have 2 styles, crew neck and a v-neck, $20 each. And then also we have a happy. For non-members, it's $95. For members, it is $80. And if you'd like to see the merchandise, come on up after the service. So with that, that will conclude our service for today. Again, thank you everyone for attending. Sensei?
Namo Amida Butsu, Namman Butsu, Namman Butsu, Namman Butsu. Please offer the incense. Thank you.